Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Qudash, and double honors to the apostles of the great millstone that have taught me this truth, and to include the elder bishops on down, and Yahweh Shai Shai Brakatha, or thumb to all of you brothers out there, as well as we ought to believe that we're of the 144,000. And yeah, it's your brother Laban, man. And what I want to do is I want to speak about this briefly. What happened today, at the park that I was in. And so this guy just comes up out of nowhere and just decides to, tell me in his authoritative way that, look, you got to get out the park because, the stuff that you're talking about, and as well as the sign, is religious and it can get into politics and what have you. And meanwhile, what I did was I did my research and found out that the rules of the park doesn't say that I'm not allowed to do what I'm doing whatsoever. As a matter of fact, the park does say that you can perform lives and or play music. That's what I found out, and I've even called the council of this borough over here, which heads this park. And again, I didn't get any backlash of the wrongs that I've done. So basically, what this dude did is he just basically violated, my rights and what have you. And so what I'm gonna do is if he does come up again, because I'm gonna go to the same park again. Just put that out there. I'm gonna go back to this park again. And if this guy comes up again, then he's in big trouble. Because now, if I really want to take it to court, I can take it to court. And I don't mind taking this thing to court. And that's just my personal thing that I'm going to have to deal with. Because I can almost guarantee, I'm very confident that I'm going to overtake this guy in court. All right. And this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Because I've already done my research. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't continue on. I left the park. You know what I'm saying? Because, let's just keep it real. I didn't really know. But now I do know the rules of the park. Okay, so the rules of the park does not state that what I'm doing is off. So therefore, he basically is in the wrong and could very well lose his job, by the way. All right. So that's all I wanted to say. So anyway, getting into the topic now, the original topic of discussion I want to get into is this article over here. As this reads, Bill Gates demands $2.5 billion for the next as World Health Organization prepares for a catastrophic event. And so it reads, Bill Gates is demanding that governments around the world urgently donate $2.5 billion to his foundation to fund research into the next catastrophic, which he warns is set to sweep the world imminently. All right. So they've already received the amount of money that they've received already, as they say, so-called to make sure that they can take care of this next pandemic, as well as I'm going to say here. But, common sense dictates that the money is going to be spent towards something which is quite contrary. All right. That's the reason why they need all of this money, because they're going to be doing something and it's going to have to take a lot of money in their pockets to do this thing, to pull this thing off. All right. And they're going to have to need hospital kits, because a lot of people are going to be taken out by this next major event that is. And so as this article reads, now this was out, I believe, about almost 3 weeks ago, if I'm correct. Remembering this, when the World Health Organization, very few brothers brought this out about how you have 31 countries that are going to be simulated getting ready for the next right? So now all of a sudden, Bill Gates, he's demanding $2.5 billion for the next one. So the thing of it is, something's getting ready to go down, and they're planning something huge. Because what we had before, which was 5 years ago, that was nothing more than a trial run for the real thing. All right, and they're gonna have to do something real quick because hey, they need to get the ball rolling with this one world system. They need to get the ball rolling fast. And one thing about crises speed up agendas. So rather than formulating a one world system naturally, it's going to take very long. It's going to take a longer time than if they were to just do it by crises instead. All right. So that's what they're doing. So depending on the scale of the crises, they can swift the society to the next level, and the final level that is the that one world system, which the final level in the coffin is going to be you being implanted with that implantable device. Okay, which is going to what? Lead to the MOTB prophecy that we keep talking about. So let me read just some stuff in this as well. As this reads over here, World Health Organization in December quietly coordinated a large-scale pandemic simulation that involved 31 countries and areas that was trained by World Health Organization itself as getting ready for the next one. Reports White House correspondent Natalie Winters. That phrase was not commentary. It was the official title and purpose of the exercise, said Winters, who also is co-host of Steve Bannon's War Room. The World Health Organization publicized the exercise on Facebook, saying getting ready for the next one. 31 countries area from across the Western Pacific participated in the IHR exercise Crystal to test their readiness for future health emergencies. So there you go. Yeah, so that's all I got to read. And the reason why the reason why you have 31 countries that have to test this out, because once again, it's going to be global once again. And why is it going to be global? Because what you do have global is a thing such as biolabs. All right, you have what is called a biolab, and in these biolabs, this is how they're able to get together, as they will tell you, to contain variants and diseases. But in all reality, I'm not going to say it, they're doing the quite contrary in there. Okay, and I'm going to leave you with that to think of. Okay, so anyway, let's tie this in with a scripture, shall we? This is Psalms 59 and verse 1. Point is in verse 2. So the chief musician Al-Tashif Mixtam of David, when Saul sent and they watched the house to kill him. Deliver me from my enemies, O my power. Defend me from them that rise up against me. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity, and save me from bloody men. For lo, they lie in wait for my soul, and the mighty are gathered against me, not for my transgression, nor for my sins, O Lord Yahweh. And that's where we're at right now. We're in a situation where we need to be delivered from our enemies, because our enemy is getting ready to do something great. And they expect to take us all out if possible. All right. Esau ain't going to be going down, on his knees easily. Like, this man is going to fight tooth and nail, and this is part of doing it with these great psychological operations. And just because it's a psyop doesn't necessarily mean that people don't die. People don't get affected. People get affected now. Just like this one that we had 5 years ago. How many people have died as a result of the you-know-whats? And how many people are going to die in the future? So this is a very real thing. Yeah, psyops are psyops, and you may say it's a false flag or whatever, but guess what? In false flags, people get affected by this stuff. All right? So I want to read a few things in this article over here, because what this guy was going into, Jeff Kohler, he's pretty much going into how and what they've been doing with this, as you can see here. All right, I'm not going to read it out loud. You can already see the mRNA imperative, defending against the next, you know what, mRNA imperative. All right? Modern synthetic biology and AI represents both medicine's greatest breakthrough and warfare's most terrifying evolution. In this new landscape where biological yeah, can be designed faster than where I ain't gonna read that. Can be designed faster than traditional defenses can be developed. Recent government decisions risk abandoning our only countermeasure that can keep up. Messenger's ribonucleic acid, better known by its acronym mRNA, known most famously for the prominent role it played in the V's against the SARS-CoV-2, which is that, you know what, all right? mRNA is a medical platform that can generate new defenses in days rather than years. So in other words, this thing replicates itself. Just to put it to you that way, in layperson's terms. So you can only but imagine people that have taken these things 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. How many of these proteins that they have, spike proteins, if you will, that they have in their bodies already? So let's read on. In layperson's term, mRNA amounts to a temporary set of instructions that tell cells how to make a specific protein. It should be said up front that a co-founder of Tevard Biosciences, a company developed tRNA-based helper molecule that carries the right building blocks to the cell's protein-making machinery. Therapeutics for genetic, there you go, see? That's all we got to see right there. You know what I mean? I ain't gotta say it. I have a commercial stake in the broader RNA medicine field. I also co-found the Alliance for mRNA Medicines, a nonprofit organization advancing mRNA technology. My perspective, however, is based on 3 decades of research in RNA biology, including work in my laboratory that contributed to the design of the as you can see over here. I don't gotta say it. Exactly. Yep. And direct experience with the public-private coordination that made Operation Warp Speed possible. To maintain this advantage, Congress should restore recently cut mRNA research funding. And the Pentagon should establish mRNA biodefense manufacturing as a priority before America's adversaries close the gap. So what is the adversary to close the gap? Meaning these traditional ways of course, of those that believe in traditional medicine, which takes care of these variants. However, they're saying that to create the spike, which is the one which caused a lot of harm to people, they can create something such as that in a matter of time sooner than traditional medicine. Okay? So this is what it is. They were able to come up with some kind of a variant, which not only does it do harm, but not only does it supposed to protect you from the particular variant which was at the time, but to make matters worse. And that's all I'm going to say. All right. As well as I've read to you already. All right. So that's what they were able to do. They were able to create something to undermine you. All right. So I want to read this now. This is Psalms 91 and verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I'm going to jump down to the point, verse 6. You know what? Let me read this correctly by starting with verse 5. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that fleeth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Exactly. So we ain't gonna have to worry about that, because the Lord is gonna be with us. Yahweh Shah is gonna be with us. And as this reads, 1,000 shall fall at thy side and 10,000 at thy right side, but it shall not come nigh thee. Exactly. So it ain't gonna come near us at all. It's not gonna come near us. So with that being said, once again, if we're under the shadow of the Almighty, in other words, this truth, right, then again, we don't have to worry about all of this stuff. Now, as it's going to seem like there's a particular variant going out once again, and it's going to seem like the real thing, because people are going to be dropping all around you. And in that time, that's going to be the beginning, I would say, of Jacob's trouble. Because it only takes one major situation like that to declare a state of emergency, and now you have Jacob's trouble right there in it. However they're going to do it. But yet and still, we're going to be all right, man. We're going to be good. As this reads here, this is the core reason why we're going to be good. Isaiah 33 and verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation, and the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So I looked up this word treasure, right? I looked up this word treasure in the Hebrew. I thought I had it on deck, but I guess I don't. So let me go and look into that. So the word is chazan, which goes into what? Riches, treasure, wealth. And what is real wealth? Wealth are assets. Wealth is supposed to be a thing that is supposed to be an asset to you. Like, for example, you owning land is an asset to you. You having gold and silver are commodities that hold its value, increase in its value, or property which increases in what's that terminology called, man? Equity. There you go. The term equity. So these things would be an asset to you. All right. And anything that is an asset to you would enrich you and make you more wealthier. Valuables. Another word you can call these things. So the wisdom that we're going to have in a time of Jacob's trouble is going to be our wealth, our asset. This is why it reads in the book of, Isaiah 4 and 2, where it reads that 7 women shall take hold of one man. Why is it that 7 women are going to take hold of one man? Because of the knowledge that we're going to have. While everybody's going to be bugging the hell out or dying as a result of what's going to be had in the days of trouble, the dark days of despair that's coming, guess what? We're going to be stable-minded, and that's what's going to be seen among these women that find us, okay? So what we know is going to pretty much shoot up exponentially in value at that time. That's when this wisdom and this understanding is going to be considered something. It's going to be counted as something that's going to be very in high regard. Okay? That's why it reads also that the Lord shall make a man more precious than fine gold. Why? Because of this wisdom, and as well as it's written that wisdom is wisdom is worth more than rubies. So that's one way how the Lord is going to glorify the men of Yahweh, while Yahweh Shah himself. You understand? So this wisdom and this understanding is going to be our valuable asset, our wealth. Just like, for example, when you read about Joseph, when he saved the city from the famine, and as well as it's also written concerning the book of Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter, where it talks about how the poor man saved the city. You understand? So wisdom and knowledge that we have is going to be, once again, our wealth. And I will say this in this way too. It's going to be our wealth for us to be able to afford to get through the hard times and on towards our salvation. All right? That's why it reads once again, Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Okay? So that's all I wanted to read right there. And so speaking of this wisdom being our riches, right? Let's read this. Revelations 2:9. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. What are we rich in? Let's look up this word in the Greek. Plusios. Let's play this just in case. It's not playing. Let me try this one more time. Just one more time. Yeah, it ain't playing. So the word is plusios. Plusios. Which means wealthy, abounding in material resources, metaphor abounding, abundantly supplies. And here's what fits in this particular verse here. Abounding rich in Christian virtues and eternal possessions. So what is our eternal possession? This word. This word is what's going to lead to eternal life. Okay? So with this word, we are rich. We are rich in faith, and we're rich in having this high grade knowledge, which is going to afford us to get through the difficult times, and as well as it's going to show value in you as a man, as well as it's written, as I've quoted already, that a man shall be, a man shall be worth more than the gold of Ophir. I'm roughly paraphrasing that. All right, I think I had got it right correctly first time, but the second time around, not so. So the wisdom of the Lord is what's going to bring the value towards, once again, the Israelite man. And so with wisdom and understanding, right? Oh, yeah, let's read this as well. He layeth up sound wisdom. Proverbs 2:7. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous, and he is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keepeth the paths of judgment and preserveth the way of his saints. Right? Then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment and equity, yea, every good path. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul. Verse 11, discretion shall preserve thee. Understanding shall keep thee. And here's the point, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man. And this is what we need. Look what Esau's getting ready to do, man. We ain't got no choice but to be in need of the Lord's return, to being delivered. All right? To deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things, who leaveth the path of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of the wicked. Absolutely, exactly. So they rejoice to do evil and wickedness. They get off on it. It gives them a reason to live. Okay? Because if they can't do that, then now life is just straight boring to them. But if they can harm people and do just justices to people in the which way that they can, they get off on that, man. You know, and I found some other stuff about the e-files too. All right, in regards to that. And I'm not going to go into it. I don't need to go into that. But yeah, I've read some stuff which pretty much goes along with what I was saying. And so let's read this too. So with the sound wisdom that we have the ability to know all things, as well as the Lord has anointed us to do so. As this reads, but ye have an unction, which the word an unction means just that, from the Holy One, and ye know all things. Exactly. So we know everything. We know that what's to come of these times, and why these times must needs be, and through these times, therefore, guess what? The kingdom of heaven is going to be established. All right. And with that being said, knowing that we know all things, we don't have to get taken by Satan's devices, as this reads, 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Absolutely. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices because we know why this devil is doing what he's doing. And we know that it's prophecy why he's doing what he's doing. Okay. And it's not really of him. It's really of the Lord himself. Okay. So we know it. We know the dealers. So, the final nail in the coffin is the fact that what Billy Boy and the rest of these lads want to do is they want to get us towards a world where we have to go by the Digital ID setting. Now, speaking of Digital ID, early of last year, and primarily the year of 2025 in the month of October, I believe it was the 7th, it was announced that the British people had to, get into the Digital ID thing until 2029, but they overturned it and stuff for whatever reason. But ESO has something else in plan, which is going to be even better than Digital ID cards. And that's what they was trying to push on the British people at the time by Carl Starmer. You understand? So, what I originally wanted to say as well is the fact that Bill Gates has his form of Digital ID system that he wants the world to come under. And if you don't come under it, as this reads over here, then you will be erased from society. You will be a nobody. And that ties right along into the Mark of the Beast prophecy. Oh, absolutely. It ties into that. Okay. So that's what's getting ready to happen on this earth, is that this devil wants to get us to a point of no return so that we can take the mark of the you know what. And before he does all of that, what he's going to do is he's going to cause mass hysteria by these crises, these stage, false flag, whatever you want to call it, crises, psyops, to get that ball rolling, to get people off their feet, shaken in fear. And by fear, you can influence the public to do what you will, because in fear, you don't think straight. Your thoughts are not organized. So you do what your government tells you to do, and that's what you do. All right? So I think I've said what I had to say. On this. With that, I want to give all of the praise and the glory to the Most High, the Son, Yahweh Bashim El Shai Bashim Rakah Quadash. And with that, I'm going to close on this one, and I say, Shalom.